grandma comes in, or how, you know, in this case, you were allowing that flexibility to happen, you know. And I think that's really kind of, that's a compelling strategy, I think, you know. It makes a lot of sense. This idea of a fractal growth is, I think, a good concept. What I think would be interesting would be to see if these could become compounds, that they begin to create not just the public space where you have it, but are there places where the fractal growth can form maybe a little like a cluster of families make a space that's inside of that. You know, I also like the fact that it can grow vertically to the second level.
What was that kid though, if you design it, then not just half the house, you design the hard part, that it would be a lot to ask of an untrained person to design, and then, you know, kind of leave the rest for people to improvise. Yeah, it could be really cool.
I mean, the project by Elemental was really cool because of how they left, it was the space in between the houses became that opportunity to occupy. And they kind of made it easy to fill in. Now, you have to be happy with the end result, meaning that if you look at the, what is the name of the project that we're talking about? Elemental was the designer.
Elemental's a designer, I think it's incremental housing.
Yeah, but there is actually a name for it. I don't know if you can we, are you online?
I can't.
That's okay.
You can't vote for him. Yeah, he left.
Okay, but I really think it's a real interesting project because what actually happens is the sort of, Elemental, you got it? Chile. CH or whatever, Chile is, Elemental. And it's, I don't speak English.
I do.
So I mean, even, if you're Portuguese, there he is. Yeah, that's it right there. But the cool thing is, when it gets built, is this sort of the result of it is the fact that the owners occupy it, and they basically generate. They basically generate. You have to be like, you have to say, okay, am I okay with diversity? Am I okay with that bay window sticking out? Am I okay with them painting it yellow? Am I okay with, with the blue? And yet, I think it's fantastic.
I'm okay with all of it. I mean,
It's
that's really
so
cool.
great.
That's like one of the concepts we're trying to go for, is we really like the creativity of the informal housing. And so we're trying to,
Allow it to be
organize
informal,
it,
yeah.
but still let them.
Okay, but look,
The Passat housing,
it's
yeah.
squares.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
I'm just saying, it's a lot easier that way.
The Passat
Really
housing
cute.
by Le Corbusier was this worker housing, but what happened was, the people who kind of owned it hacked it, and they made it, they sort of took a formal scheme and they informalized it. And I have this really great book that was published in the early 80s by a researcher at MIT that basically went back there and saw how did these lower class people occupy this worker housing and transform what Corb did. And it was just a delight. You just realize, you would just imagine Corb being happy with that. I mean, with the idea of the domino house, which this is a derivative of the domino house, you have to allow the occupant to have that flexibility. So when you do the modular, you may want to think about how is it modular, but can you accommodate it? The housing in Peru, it is a Pravy. That's one of the Pravy houses. That's right there. Architecture of Doom. It's also under, one of the houses, it is that, it's the White House there. It is the white housing. You will see it has that hexagonal structure, but what ultimately happens there is he came up with a block size, and he came up with a way of making stairs that the owners of the house could ostensibly add on to and make itself. So it's a Pravy is the community. And then this is what they basically did. These are the modifications that they did with Aldo Van Eyck's modular block, and with the modular stair, he allowed them to create their own spaces. But you can see what happens is whenever they occupy it by themselves, it's kind of a neat, it's a really neat idea about coming up with a system of construction. So if you took what you did and reduced it down to a logical system of construction or in parts, then you could allow people to occupy however they want. So,
I think they got the structure of the house down to kit parts now, but I think the next goal is to kind of put that interior and your furniture also under the same logic, and then actually pare it down to even smaller parts, like you mentioned, starting right from bricks. Like
Yeah.
the bricks form the house forms the master plan, and et cetera. You're kind of starting from the outside and moving inward, but I think you'll come to a place where you can start from that one node and not grow out.
I just wonder, is a triangle the best geometry? I think, and I think that was already the discussion. I mean, I'm from Pittsburgh, I'm used to triangles, but you know, I walk through downtown Pittsburgh and I get lost. Because, you know, the rivers converge into a triangular city grid, and it does get confusing. I kind of know where I am, but, you know, but I kind of wonder if, you know, what kind of jigs are you going to make? You know, it might make sense structurally, but it might not make sense intellectually. You may want to look at, you know, is there anything in the country that you are building in? Is there something, as you begin to look at the existing housing, is there something that, do they tend towards squares, do they tend towards pentagons, do they tend towards, you know, parallelograms, can you begin to think of maybe a system that relates to the kind of space occupancy that these are the circles, a circular space? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Is the triangle this sort of foreign geometry that's outside imposition, you know, that might be harder to actually build with? You know, it's kind of easy to cut, you know, perpendicular, but it's hard to cut, you know, those angles and make it fit right.
So they started with what's called the King's Hut typology, where it's all circles, and they're fractaling of circles basically, with the hut in the center. And then they moved to this hexagon shape to kind of get the inefficiencies out of the circles.
then we realized that a hexagon, to like modularize the hexagon house, we realized the hexagon's made up of triangles. So that's what we got the triangle.
It's kind of cool. Now we look at elemental, you know, just to get some ideas about what you need to actually build, and, you know, so you have this like field of half dwellings, you know, and then how do they get occupied? Cool. Good. All right, thanks.
Well, my computer's saying we're out of time, so. Do you want to just say that on my desktop? Can you guys all send your